Hello, welcome back to Mansell Media Corner. I know it's been a while, but so we talk about the year 1980 in terms of media and pop culture. Yeah, why not? So, what can I say about 1980 in terms of pop culture? Such an important year and such a sad year. So, let's talk about something positive to start off with. So we talk about films, what came out this particular year, and there's some legendary stuff. What came out in terms of like films. Let's start with one of the greatest Star Wars films of all time. Still to this day an absolute classic. The Empire Strikes Back, which of course had arguably the first appearance of Yoda. And of course, then we've got The Elephant Man, again a great film. Then we've got classic comedy, I think. In fact, yes, I can't think, Leslie Nielsen I'm thinking of is in this one. Don't call me Shirley, I think it is, but it's Aeroplane. Came out this year. And then we've got John Carpenter's The Fog, made an appearance. Of course, the classic soundtrack of Flash. Of course, Flash Gordon, of course, performed by the legendary Queen. And of course, classic sung by Irene Cara. And it is Fame. Then we got a Robert Redford directed film, Ordinary People. Then we got Caddyshack. I think it's got a very young Bill Murray in, but I'm not 100% sure. Of course, got going a bit of Dolly Parton, but it's 95 as well, made an appearance this year. Of course, another classic musical with Dan Aykroyd and James Belushi, I think. Or John Belushi, I believe it is the Blues Brothers. Of course, one of my favourite Superman films, Superman 2, appeared in this particular year. And as sad as it is, you know, a year ago. It's gone quick, but a year ago, last year, Olivia Newton-John passed away in her biggest role, apart from Grease, which came out in, I believe, 78. But this one was a flop when it came out, but it's Xanadu. Of course, we got another like great actor in them, Burt Reynolds in Smoking a Bandit too. And of course, Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall in The Shining, and of course, here's Johnny. Comes with that line, which, if the story goes, Stephen King wasn't a very big fan of the Stanley Kubrick presentation of his film which he wrote. But another epic year coming up in terms of music. What can I say? Some mega albums appeared in this particular year. So you've got Peter Gabriel's self-titled, I think Games Without Frontier on. And speaking of like artists who appeared, so you can actually see my face a bit. I can see my nose, but yes. Then we got Kate Bush's third album, I believe. Never Forever, of course, with the ever so famous Babushka song. And Breathing and Army Dreamers, but what a great album. And the legendary Kate Bush, there she is. Can't really tell what she's doing, but I think she's pretending to be a bat or some sort. But then you got Dire Straits making movies, Genesis Duke with the great song Turn It On Again, I think, off that album. Van Halen released Women and Children first. U2, Boy, Pat Benatar, Crimes of Passion. Ozzy Osbourne released Blizzard of Ozzy's self-titled debut, and what an album it is. Mr. Crowley, Crazy Train, etc. Of course, band from Stourbridge, Diamond Head, of course, which would like to inspire Metallica, but it's their debut, Lightning to Nations. And to do with deaths, this album originally had Bon Scott on vocals, but because he died while recording, I had to bring in a guy from Newcastle in Brian Johnson, but it's the classic AC/DC Back in Black. Here's some of the big albums as well. What can I say? My first nod is for Noid's Rock God 2004, but the classic Iron Maiden self-titled album. Of course, what can you say, one of the greatest metal bands of all time, and such an awesome debut. Got the likes of Phantom of the Opera, Running Free, title track. As you can see, look at them for some heavy songs. And one of the great metal albums also, I think I made about the same time, but got the legendary British Steel by the mighty Judas Priest as well. And the band, I'm not too sure where they're from. If anyone knows, leave in the comments, but it's Witchfind, Give Him Hell. Great new wave of British heavy metal band. And of course, can't go at the time, Dio's just left Rainbow to form Black Sabbath, and at the time Ozzy's just left Black Sabbath, so they had the classic Heaven and Hell album. This is the remaster, but what an album. Of course, classically produced by Martin Birch, the late great. What a lineup: Bill Ward on drums, Geezer Butler on bass, Tony Iommi guitar, and the late great Ronnie James Dio, of course, on vocals. And excuse me, also had another classic legendary album of this year. You can't really tell, but the Ace of Spades by the Motorhead, 1980, of course, classic anthem. And this is a rare, I got this a couple of years ago from a place in Kidderminster in the West Midlands, if you don't know, called Mr. T's. And this is the original Metal for Mothers, but all these bands came out about the same time, so they've got Sanctuary, which is Iron Maiden, which is before Clive Burr, I think, on drums. But you got likes of Angel Witch, who released their self-titled album. This particular year, you've got an early version of Rothschild from the Soundhouse tapes. Tomorrow Yesterday with Paul Sampson on vocals, not Mr. Bruce Dickinson. You can tell some epic songs. An absolute classic album. So yeah, that's the majority of the classic albums. Also on TV, on BBC One, you had the likes of Heidi High with the late great Ruth Maddock, Sue Pollard, and of course would like to do like You Rang Me Lord, I think it was called. Taxi with the very young Danny DeVito. the adventure game. Watch Dogs still going strong, but it's on the one show now. The likes of Juliet Bravo, King Rollo, I remember watching as well when I was a baby. You've also got The Amazing Adventures of Morph, and of course Tony Hart, the late great Tony Hart created him, I think. And still to this day, it is Children in Need, but however, on BBC Two, you've got the likes of Newsnight still going strong, Yes Minister, But this is why before we had Channel 4C, now they have BBC One, BBC Two and the ITV. But ITV, they had the likes of Family Fortunes. There's the like Max Bygraves presenting. Heart to Heart, great show that is. Play cards like with the late great Bruce Forsyth. Take the High Road, which is set in Scotland, I believe. Metal Mickey, which was created by Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees, I believe. An audience with, of course, some legends of Grace like Adele recently, Billy Connolly, Kenneth Williams. And also, I thought this was later, but it's the legendary Buttermoon. But there are some very, very, very sad deaths. And start with the one which is still to this day really, really shocking how he died. It's only the legendary John Lennon. His middle name was John Winston Lennon, and he had Youth of Joyce of George and Mildred fame. Of course, the fella, I think he's Liverpudlian. I've got a feeling he may have been, but it's the legendary Peter Sellers, of course, famously played Clouseau in the Pink Panther films. John Laurie out of Dad's Army, I'm not too sure he played, but another legendary comedic female in Hattie Drakes, of course, famous for the Carry On. Mae West, I think, may have been a silent actress stroke talkie. Of course, you had the late great Steve McQueen, passed away this year. Jimmy Durant, who was around, I think, in the 50s. Of course, Alfred Hitchcock, what can I say, one of the great thriller directors of all time. What can I say? Where do you go with his films, or where do you start? North by Northwest, Psycho, Rear Window, etc. And of course, the main man responsible for KFC, Colonel Sanders. And of course, if you don't know who he is, his face is like pictured on the bags and what have you on the KFC. Of course, you had the Olympian, like great Jesse Owens. Of course, 3 deaths, again like John Lennon, which impacted the way we listen to music nowadays. And in that particular order, you've got the likes of John Bonham of Led Zeppelin. Like I said earlier, Bon Scott, of course, great footman, and Ian Curtis. However, in birth, there's some big births coming up. You've got the likes of Kim Kardashian, Ryan Gosling, Channing Tatum, pardon, Rebel Wilson, the legendary Randy Orton, the Apex Predator himself, Christian Bell, Christina Aguilera, Macaulay Culkin, Ronaldinho. Don't know if he's still playing or he's semi-retired. Let me know in the comments if he is or not. Chris Pine, who was recently in Wonder Woman. I'm not too sure if he voiced Mario or that's Chris Pratt. Not 100% sure, but then you do the wrestling, you've got The Miz. Awesome! And of course he got the show off himself, Dolph Ziggler, born in this year. Michelle Williams, who was in Venom and lots of other things. Jessica Simpson. Steven Gerrard, of course. I think he's manager of Aston Villa, but I'm not 100% sure again. Venus Williams, and of course, Gautier, of course. Had that, somebody I used to know, I think it was called. But let's end up with sports and football. The FA Cup winners were West Ham United. Tennis, you got the legendary Bjorn Borg. I'm gonna butcher this name, so I had to do my research, but for the women it's Yvonne Gubagong Colwaley. But then also in Formula 1 you had Alan Jones winning the Drivers' Championship. Let's do some shout-outs as well from legendary blue tubers, guys who I watch and appreciate. So, let's go for somebody I respect who made me confident doing YouTube. The guy who put me on the map. So it's a legendary Jim Jam Movies and TV. Video tasters who just go through, loves VHS and like retro things. And there's a very special day for this person I'm going to mention. If you know, you know who it is. It's my good friend, Hale from Big Screen, Small Screen. It's his birthday today, so guys, give him a nice happy birthday message. He's an awesome blue YouTuber. He loves his comedies from like BBC. Really, really great details. So happy birthday, Hale, from Man's Media Corner. We of course got pardon me, and we got the legendary Ian and Jamie Powell. Then we got Scottish geek guy Jimmy, Murphy Chats, Big Steve and Little Steve. Then we got the legendary BigPauly, Batman Jamie Smith, by the gods of science fiction. And we got a couple of wrestling YouTubers who I like to watch. Tweet Wrestling, and then we got Nigel Rocker 2004, the DVD Freak, Scott the Movie Critic, Forgot About the Movies, which is Andy, who's really passionate about obscure films, but he's got a really, he's really clever when it comes to films. Knows, like, God knows what the film's about, etc. Then another legendary, Alan of Kermit's Ghost, Beatdown Bunny, Magpie Movies, it is Geordie Paul, A-Time Movie Place, Leon Talks Films, Bristolian Dave who says, alright me babbers, Blu-ray Bullet Bit, Mark Thomas Robb. Then we got another Batman, Ready Player Movies, Play Tendo Guy, Katie Powell, Lisa Loves and Cinema X-Men Movies, but that's the year 1918 shoutouts. Please like, share and subscribe to Mansell Media Corner. And the guys who I've mentioned, please give them a sub. They are awesome BlueTube stroke YouTube members, but they're much more, let's just say they are legends in the community. So leave in the comments what are some of your highlights from 1980, with what you're doing in 1980, etc. Or what you used to watch, or what you watched at the cinema. So that's like reading your comments. So please like, share and subscribe to Mansell Media Corner. I'll be back for another video soon, which will be the last year, the 1980s. It will be the year of 1988. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.